All right, we're going to combine the following unlike fractions. Um, so we want a common denominator, then again we'll write the fraction with that common denominator. The first problem, we have two terms. In this case, our common denominator is 16. So that's our first step. And then we want to write each fraction with the denominator of 16. So the first fraction, the denominator is 8. If we multiply the denominator by 2, we'll get 16, so we multiply the top by 2. So we don't change the value of that fraction. So our numerator that comes down is going to be positive 6. Now the second term already has a common denominator of 16, so we're just going to take down the plus 5 as our second term, and then we can simplify 11 over 16. Alright, so step 2 is going to be basically fixing each of the fractions to get that common denominator. Alright, the next expression, 3 over 20 minus 6 over 25 plus 2 over 15. From the previous You Try It video, we did get the common denominator of 300. So I'm just going to write that down. 300 we found was our common denominator. But the reason why I put the prime factors up there again is to actually use when I need to fix each of these terms. So what do I need to multiply by 20 to get 300? And I can look at the prime factors of 20. That's 2, 2, and 5. And if I compare that to the lowest common denominator, what's missing is a 3 and a 5. So I have the 2, 2, and 5. What's missing is a 3 and a 5, which is 15. And if I multiply the denominator by 15, the missing factors, I'll get 300. So in this case, I need to multiply top and bottom by 15. And my term value, my numerator that comes down, would be a positive 45. So let's try that for the 25. So if I look at 25, it's factors of 5 and 5. The missing factors in my lowest common denominator are 2, 2, and 3. So there's the 5 and 5. If I think about what do I need to multiply by 25 to get the lowest common denominator, it's these missing factors 2, 2, and 3, which is 12. So I'm going to multiply 25, the denominator, by 12. That means I need to multiply the numerator by 12. And my numerator would be a negative 6 times 12, which is a negative 72. Alright, so the last term, the 15, again, what do I need to multiply by 15? And we could figure that out. We could probably get the answer by thinking about it. But if we look at the prime factors, 15 has factors of 3 and 5. So that's these two, 3 and 5. And the missing ones are 2, 2, and 5, which is 2 times 2 is 4, times 5 is 20. So we probably knew that already, but notice how we can use the prime factors for the lowest common denominator to help us understand what I need to multiply by 15 to get the lowest common denominator. So 15 times 20 is 300. I need to multiply the numerator and denominator by that. So I would have a plus 2 times 20, or a plus 40. Alright, so now if I simplify the numerator, that would be 95 minus 72. No, excuse me, 85. 45 and 40 is 85. Minus 72 is 13. So 13 is prime, so 13 over 300 would be our answer. I can't simplify that any further. Okay, finally our last problem. The common denominator in this case would be a 14. So we can just do that by inspection. The 14 is the highest number. 7 and 2, the other denominators, both divide into 17. So here we got our common denominator of 14. So the first term here, if I multiply the denominator by 2, I'll get 14, so I need to multiply the numerator by 2. So it would be a negative, and then 2 times 3a. That would be a negative 6a for that term. All right, moving on to the other terms then. The second term already has a common denominator of 14 in it, so I just need to take the numerator and set it back on top, negative 5. 2, I need to multiply the 2 in the denominator, I need to multiply by 7 to get 14. So again, positive 3a times 7 would be a 21a. And then finally, the last denominator is 7. I need to multiply by 2, multiply top and bottom by 2, and we would get a positive 10 for that term value. So we have one fraction all over 14. Now we can simplify. We get negative 6a and 21a would be a 15a. And then negative 5 and positive 10 would be a positive 5. So again, that would be our one fraction. And we combine it like terms. So again, looking at the composition, notice how our terms are staying in columns. Our first step was to create this big fraction with the common denominator. That was the goal, was to combine these fractions with that common denominator. And then in step 2 was just fixing each of these numerators to be an equivalent fraction with that common denominator. All right.